So this is another episode of Worst Take, where we go around the NBA media landscape as it relates to the New York Knicks and react to this soundbite. You people in the chat are the judges. You rate the take, 1 being trash, 5 being facts, and that's the rules, okay? So the first clip is from our guy Baron Davis, Al, formerly of the Knicks Tape Knicks. Friend of the program as well. I've separated him from that clown Draymond Green, and Barron's actually a good guy. So he's a friend of the program. Came on KnicksFanTV. We got to put that interview out. Actually, I got that. I'll throw that in the archives next month during the dog days. But anyway, Baron Davis was on the Podcast P show and talked about some of the Knicks' struggles as he saw it from the point guard standpoint in the playoffs and what it should be looking like going forward. All right, so let's listen to BD and react to it on the other side. Here we go. Let me just make sure the sound is good. Let's see.
Do you see that as a recipe for winning?
At first I did.
Yeah.
But he's so cold, bro.
He cold. He tough.
Hey, bro, he's so cold.
He's talking about Jalen Brunson.
Y'all can't with this dude, bro. Nobody can stop him. My problem with that series is if you watch what happened where Indiana was successful is half court started to become another defender and a problem for him. Mm-hmm. So bringing the ball up the court against pressure, then you get that pick and roll happening damn near right by half court. Mm-hmm. So he ain't got even though the court got bigger and wider, his space got limited. Mm-hmm. And so I think you need another guard. Mm-hmm. You need somebody that can handle pressure, bring the ball up, and if you put that dude in a block, one-on-one down the stretch, you gotta double. Bro, you gotta double. Yeah. Like, it's crazy. It's crazy. Nobody can guard him.
Yeah.
Nobody can guard him. He gets
crafty,
his
though.
Yeah, he's so crafty. And so can you get him off the ball? Because what happened, or nobody on the Knicks outside of Jalen Brunson could bring the ball up the court. That's the only reason why they lost. Mm-hmm. Indiana puts pressure, you turn the ball over. Indiana puts pressure, then you extend your offense, and now Karl-Anthony Towns got to play one-on-one from the top of the key the entire series. Now, he's talented as shit. He can do that, but you can't figure out where a mismatch is, nothing, because you playing at a almost like a frantic pace all the time. So if they can find somebody.
And they eating clock.
They tearing the clock up. They tearing the clock up. So he's dribbling the whole.
Right.
He got the ball the whole shot clock.
Right.
He can't even get off the ball, push off, get some space, and now have a live dribble.
Yeah.
He don't get none of that. And so, one, that's a testament to coaching. Like, if you don't work on a press break, if you don't know how to get your best player in multiple situations to be effective, and then if you only have one primary ball handler, that is your primary scorer, that is your primary playmaker, and you're going to wear him out.
Yeah.
And so, hopefully whoever comes in next is looking at how do we make Jalen Brunson dynamic.
Al, your thoughts?
I thought all of that was fair. There's nothing worse. That is not a worse take. That was a good take. I agree with everything that he said because, look, you can go back to listen to Melo, Shump, and Kaz talking about it on 7 p.m. in Brooklyn, right? And the one thing that we saw throughout the playoffs is that as the series, whether it was Pistons, the Celtics, or the Pacers, Brunson is amazing. You want the rock in your best player's hand at all times. I get that. But you need to be able to create for him as well, and that's utilizing him off ball, having another answer offensively, so that way, once again, as we just talked about with Mike Brown and potentially Pablo Prigioni joining the staff, is you want to create offensive diversity, right? And we didn't have that. And so if you got to rely on Jalen Brunson to constantly bring up the rock, like the defense knows what it's going to do, and they're looking to blitz him. They're looking to get him into corners, forcing him to make tough decisions, forcing turnovers, and not saying that he can't handle that pressure, but as that wears on over a 7-game series, you're going to start to slip. You're not going to be perfect every single night. And you're now asking Jalen Brunson to be perfect every single night to execute when you start to see those blitzes, you start to see the different coverages. And you're asking him to be out there more than he should, because when you'll get your bench, you're not relying on campaign. DeLon Wright's not going to be breaking down somebody. McBride's not going to be somebody that's going to take someone to the cup and just create just the same way that Jalen Brunson does. So I agree with, you want to be able to get him more off ball to get him better looks, because how many times did we see, after a timeout, Tibbs draws up a play, Brunson gets the ball in the corner, knocks it down a 3, and that was the easiest look that he got throughout the game, right? So, look, I agree with everything they said. That's why we're having the conversation. See, you're talking about needing another point guard, right? So, hey, I agree with that take. That take that's a solid take by Boom Dizzle.
Yeah, that was a 5 for me. Definitely a 5. We've talked about this concept of Brunson being off ball. It's just so many people in so many different ways. And from that Pacers series on down, Baron Davis spoke about the fact that they need another ball handler. Another topic that we've ran ragged on this show. And he spoke about it's an indictment on the coaching, which I think is part of the reason why Tibbs is no longer here, along with other things. But when you look at the fact that they brought in a Brown, or they're looking to get the offense more dynamic, they bring in a Nori, they bring in a Prigioni. I don't think Karl-Anthony Towns was one of those guys that was raising his hand to save Tibbs during the exit meetings. You know what I'm saying? But with all that being said, he was right, man. Like, the flaws, and Deuce said it, a lot of their flaws got exposed in that series. And so the challenge is going to be for Mike Brown, how do they mix up the offense where it's not solely reliant on Jalen? Because as Barron said, he's the primary playmaker, the primary scorer on that team. A good defense is going to make you more one-dimensional. And then when you couple the fact that because there's no diversity in the offense, there's a lack of ball movement, it's a my turn, your turn thing where you're making Karl-Anthony Towns be a one-on-one player from the top of the key a lot of the times.
And that's not his game.
It's just not going to work. It's not going to work. Like Melo said on 7 p.m. in Brooklyn, shout out Brandon Guest, we need another Nembard. We need another Nembard on the team. But it's like he's right. So this is why I look at Mikal Bridges. And why when fans are like, yo, you can't sign, and why they give up the picks. We can't look back in the past. We got to look at what we have right now. And if you can't get better than that, then you got to figure out how to utilize him as your secondary, tertiary ball handler to run offense through. It's that simple, bro.
For sure. And look, that's why I was asking for during the regular season. I was like, we got this guy. We allowed guys like RJ to be someone that led that second unit, to be a creator, to be an initiator. Why aren't we allowing Bridges to do that? And we're just giving Towns the full reins of the second unit. And he's not a creator. He still needed to be set up by campaign, whether it be working the post, being found on the perimeter. And look, talented scorer. But, and for as much heat as he got here, Julius, at least you could say, did that to relieve Brunson of being the sole creator, right? Not saying Julius was perfect, but at least he had somebody that can bring the ball up and start something. That's what Bridges needs to do. And that's probably the one thing I disagree with when they talked about Bridges on 7 p.m. in Brooklyn. It's like, no. He needs to be the guy that goes out there and does that, man. There is a little bit more. We saw him do it out in Brooklyn. We know he's capable of doing that. He should be able to do that here in New York. Give him the reps. Right? And look, yes, you can go out there, go get another point guard, but that's part of the reason why he brought in Bridges too, to be that dynamic wing, to add a little bit more to the game, to add that diversity. And we saw that too. We saw it when Brunson was out. All right? We saw that when Brunson was out, Bridges was initiating the offense. It was by committee. But we saw, okay, even by committee, there is something there. And maybe if you give him more reps, he can get comfortable. Sometimes what it is for players, CP, is that even though they might not be great at it, they just need more reps to feel more comfortable and more confident, because the game of basketball is about confidence, all right? They tell you to shoot with confidence. You can't dribble without confidence either. So give Bridges those opportunities, man. I hope Mike Brown does that. Hey, I think he was politicking for that reason. We saw that man out in Summer League sitting next to Coach Brown for a reason.
Yeah.
And I think even with Leon Rose and Gerson, right, I think the idea is like, look, Bridges was here, underutilized for Tom Thibodeau, did not fit what Tibbs likes to do. You got to make it different. We made this investment. Forget the picks. You got to sign him. You can't let this man walk. He's going to get paid. And if you're going to pay him, utilize him. Give him that expanded role. So even though we still need another guy who can initiate the offense for the second unit, I think you got to give Bridges that chance.
Yeah, I'm with you 100%. And look, if you were to play fantasy basketball and you're just looking for the guy's probably booked. Long shot, probably not going to happen for the foreseeable future. If you want to look at on a B level, is it a Kobe White type? Again, not going to happen, but those type of players. So for right now, it's Jordan Clarkson, bro. You know what I'm saying? It's a Jordan Clarkson show. Let's get it cracking. Let's go.
He can pass the rock, man.
Let's go.
Look, he averaged 5 assists.
Yeah.
Look, he is going to put up some shots that have you scratching your head. There will be, I think everyone said it on the show, there will be some reminiscence of J.R. Smith. All right? Be like, all right, man, phenomenal outing. But why did you take these shots over here? What made you think that was a good idea? Clarkson's going to do that. But I think the passing is the most underrated part of his game. And I think he will find guys. I think people will be a little bit more, I think people will be a little pleasantly surprised at how well he can actually create for others and get guys going.
That's our Nembard. Mello, holla at us, man. We got our Nembard, man. Salute to everybody in the chat. CP and Alex on the ones and twos. Worst take segment of the show. Let us know what you guys thought about P. Diddy's comments, man. Baron Davis, sorry. I can't. We can't use that old nickname. That's no good around these parts anymore.